in the half. Stephen A, hush your mouth, talking all that noise. You can hate all you want, but we still them boys. Dirty, dirty D, Texas where we stay at. Me inside an order till you know that's where we play at. Hey, this year, this the payback. Yeah, we them Cowboys, and nah, we don't play that. Work. This is Cowboy Nation. Work. Welcome to Cowboy Nation. Work. Y'all can keep on hate. Work.
Cowboys Nation, Cowboys Nation, Cowboys Nation. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, D. Will, you told us you weren't coming back until Tuesday. And it's Sunday and you're already back. Well, that's because I was on X and somebody that I respect a lot, Mr. Tom Downey, came on to X and he posted a video where he took his predictions, his original prediction that the Cowboys were going to go 10-7 this year, and he moved that to a 7-10 season, mostly because of the loss of Micah Parsons. He feels like our defense is that much worse now, and now we're going to only win 7 games. So I got to do my job. My job is to defend the boys, and guess what? I'm getting ready to defend the boys. Tom Downey, this video is because of you. So let's talk about the defense for a minute. Let's just have an honest conversation about this defense, okay? I don't believe that the Cowboys are going to be the number one run-stopping defense just because we have Kenny Clark, okay? I already believed before getting Kenny Clark that we were going to be a better defense than we were last year. I already believed that. I thought Matt Eberflus's system, the things that he was going to be teaching and the things that we had to do were going to allow us to just be a little better at stopping the run, but without someone big in the middle, it was going to be difficult, right? But I thought that they would be able to get it done, to be better, not to be the best, but to be better. I think with Kenny Clark, it's even better than that. So let's go 11-10, 11-12 in the league as far as stopping the run. That's a much better run defense than what we had before. I think from a pass rushing standpoint, which is what you lose with Micah Parsons, I just feel like we don't lose but maybe 2 sacks all season. And 2 sacks could be a lot. But I feel like that's really all that you lose, because I still feel like Dante Fowler is good for his 10-11 sacks, right? I still believe that he's going to be good for that. The same thing that he got last year. I'm not a Donovan Ezeraku just Oval fan. I do like the pick, don't get me wrong. I just haven't seen anything quite yet. I don't know if this is the year that he breaks out. It's a possibility that next year is the year that he really breaks out. But I don't think he'll go over. So, I mean, I still think he'll get 4, maybe 5 sacks this year. Sam Williams, I've seen him flash, and I feel like he can do some things. And this is really his opportunity to do it. And I really hope that he does, because if he does, then we don't lose out even on those 2 sacks. But I'm not just betting everything on him being just that flash 10-sack guy. But again, you know, if he's able to do 4 or 5 and you put him with Donovan and he's getting to the quarterback every once in a while, the changeup is there. We're kind of, you know, in a similar situation. I do like James Houston. I've been banging on the table about James Houston. Play this man. He got 8 sacks in 8 games in the last, before he got injured, right? So 8 sacks in 8 games mean you know how to get to the quarterback. And so I feel like he's going to be able to get to the quarterback if he's in the game. Also, Odighizuwa is going to get to the quarterback. And as quiet as it's kept, Kenny Clark actually is great as pass rush as well, right in the middle. I also believe that Mazi Smith benefits from someone like Kenny Clark being there. I feel like the tricks of the trade, we know that Mazi has that strength, similar strength like what Kenny Clark has, but unfortunately it's hard if you don't have somebody in front of you that can really show you and push you and has that experience. I feel like Kenny Clark has that opportunity to even make Mazi better. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not banking on it. I've already said I feel like we'll be better with Kenny Clark, but I'm not feeling like we're going to be the best. But if something like that happens, we'll be even better than that. Or Mazi can come in and step in and start to play as good as he does. All of a sudden, you got a pretty scary defensive line at that point. But because you got rotational pieces, right? But I'm not banking on that. I am saying that if you have a better, not the best, but a better run defense, and you're only losing maybe 2 sacks throughout the entire year, but you're still getting good pressure on the quarterback, I don't see how you're that much worse of a defense. Matter of fact, I think that's a better defense. Somebody who maybe not be getting as many sacks, but definitely is able to stop the run. I feel like that's a better defense. I also feel like we have a better offense than we have, even when we were going 12-5 2 or 3 years in a row. I feel like we have a better offense than that. We have still CeeDee Lamb with Pickens on the other side. You can say what you want to about Pickens, but at the worst, he's a good number 2. Let's just say he's not a number 1. Cool. We got that. We got CD. He's at least a very good number 2. And when you put some speed on the field like KaVontae Turpin, which I know that Shotty is going to do, even though McCarthy never could figure out how to do it. When you have a Jalen Tolbert who at least has the experience to be able to move around and catch football, I think we're a better passing offense, and we were already decent with in passing. But even from the run last year, Zach Martin wasn't Zach Martin. And so I don't expect for our rookie our rookie guard to necessarily just be a bully in his rookie year. But I expect for him to be decent enough to allow running backs to be able to get into, and we talked about this in our last video, get into the line, not be getting hit behind the line, and then having good enough running backs to pick up the extra couple of yards. I know Phil Maffa can do it. I would have to say if Javonte can't do it and Miles Sanders don't get it done, that we eventually end up putting our rookies in the game. I just don't feel like this team is that much worse of a team. So with that information, let's go into what we feel like this season is going to be. Here are my predictions. I've already told you, as far as the Eagles are concerned, how I feel like the offense is going to be pretty decent against them. I think that the defense is going to be much better than what everybody anticipates. But with this being a very first game of the year with a new defensive coordinator, a new offensive game plan, it's going to be also new for Philadelphia. I just don't think that we win the game. I think that it being a new game allows us definitely to stay in the game. I don't think this is a blowout by any means. But I think with them being at home, they're able to pull off a game. I do believe that even in a loss, that you're going to see that your Cowboys aren't who everybody says that they are. This is not a blowout situation or a game where everybody is like, oh, man, I told y'all they were going to suck. No, it's going to be a brawl, and we're going to compete. And even if we lose, people are going to say, oh, wait a minute. Hey, this ain't the Cowboys that I thought. Now, hey, we're still going to get talked about. People still going to have a whole lot to say because we lost the first game, and it's going to be all blamed on Jerry, and the defense ain't what y'all, the offense ain't what y'all said it was. Pickens ain't whatever. They're going to talk all the noise that they want to. But I think that as real fans, you'll see that it's not as bad. Now, when we get to the Giants, it ain't that bad. Hey, I'm telling you right now, that is a W. That is a W. I don't expect for it to be anything worse. And we don't even really, again, I think that the Giants are going to be a little bit better than they were. I just don't think they're going to be good enough to actually beat the Cowboys at that time. Chicago, on the other hand, is way better than they were a year ago or a couple of years ago. Still not good enough to actually be able to beat a Cowboys team that has something to prove this year. I don't think they're made with what it takes to just beat us up. The teams that we've lost to in the past are those teams that can beat you up in the ground. I think they're going to try to rely on Caleb Williams. I think we still be able to get to the quarterback. By then we'll have, cornerbacks playing at a high level. I just don't believe that that's going to be a situation where we actually lose that game, even though Chicago is a much better football team than times in the past. Green Bay is going to be that game where people start to say that this is the game that tells us whether we won or lost the trade. And guess what? I believe that we won the trade. I most certainly do. I don't think that we win the game, though, unfortunately. I don't know. I think Micah's going to have something to prove. I think it's a game that we can win, and I think it's a game that we should win. I think there's going to be some type of let up, something that's not going to be right that causes us to lose. We're going to be really, really upset with the loss, but it's going to be a learning experience for our team and everything that's going on with them as far as the culture is concerned. When they get against the Jets, I feel like that is a bounce back against the Jets. I do also feel like when you get to Carolina, life ain't that bad. It's definitely a win against Carolina at that time. And I know that Tom had said that this was going to be that letdown game. I think that losing to Green Bay, unfortunately, is that letdown game. That's the game that's going to keep them focused, where they don't end up losing easy games to the Jets or Carolina, and it keeps them focused. It actually has them ready to move into these continual games. The Washington Redskins couldn't beat us last year with Cooper Rush. There's absolutely no way that I believe that this year, with something to prove, that they are actually going to beat us. But when we get to the Denver Broncos, not that I believe that Denver is a better team than we are, I think that there's going to be some things that happen in Mile High Stadium with them being at home that allows them to actually win that particular football game. Now, I know with the Arizona Cardinals, that's actually a tricky game, to me, because Kyler Murray always wins in Texas Stadium, but that's got to end at some point. And we're going to be moving into the bye. And I think that we actually get the win in that game. Going into the bye, I have a 6-3 in the bye. 6-3 going into the bye. And when we come out of the bye, we're going to be playing the Raiders. And I definitely think that a well-rested team playing against the Raiders is going to actually win. Philadelphia, on the other hand, when we're coming back to them, I think we finally got our stuff back together. I think that we're playing better, and this is a statement game for the Cowboys, and I think the Cowboys actually pull it off. I don't think we get swept by the Eagles this year. That was a last year thing. There was a lot of injuries last year. Swept by the Eagles is just nothing that I expect. This is a good football team. Let's stop acting like this is a 7-10 football game or football team. This is a good football team. They do not get swept. Now, originally, when I did my first projections, I said that the Cowboys will beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Thanksgiving. And guess what? I don't believe that anymore. Now, I'm just going to tell you why. I feel like that this is the Micah Parsons letdown game to me. This is where you actually see it. You remember that those two less sacks that we were talking about? You're probably going to need them in this game. See, the Kansas City Chiefs was a team that the Cowboys were actually geared up to beat, because we can get after the quarterback. We can get out there and get the running behind him. Micah Parsons crashing out on Thanksgiving. Like, that is the type of game that the Cowboys are geared to win, because they're not bullying people. They're not like they have an incredible run game where they're going to run down our throat. So I thought the Cowboys would have a chance to win that game. But in this situation, without Micah, I think that's where mine kind of switches up from what we originally talked about. I will tell you this, without Ben Johnson, I'm not sure the Detroit Lions are the same team that we've seen before. However, I do believe that we take the W against Detroit, because we're going to be into a push for playoff contention at that time. This isn't going to be a team that's being let down. This is a team that is actually winning games, and Schottenheimer is actually going to have them ready for Detroit. I do believe, however, that fatigue eventually catches up with them, and it catches up with them in Minnesota, because you have just a lot of games in a very short period of time. I think that fatigue actually catches up with them on the Minnesota game, and that becomes an L But then they're able to bounce back. They get some rest against them, and they're able to go on their playoff run. The problem that we're going to have is I don't think we beat Washington both times. Just got the same way I don't believe that Philadelphia sweeps us. I don't think that we're sweeping Washington this year. It would be wonderful to be able to do it. I felt like we could have swept them last year. And possibly this year we do. And that could be the difference between 11-6 and 12-5. But I'm going to be honest with you, Christmas Day, I just don't believe that we actually pull it off. Of course, we are sweeping the Giants. I feel like that we're going to be able to go 11-6 this year. 11-6 is what my projections are. That's what it was before. Some of the games have changed. But I still see an 11-6 season. I still believe that this is a team that people are going to be underrating, and I think that's going to be helpful for us. I think that not being being the underdog and not being the favorite to win is actually going to allow the coach to coach up his team. It's going to keep us from having letdowns against teams like Carolina or against the Raiders that we're always supposed to win. But it seems like, oh my God, we always find a way to lose one of those stupid games. I think that not being the favorite on a lot of different stuff allows us to actually get to that point to where we're not dropping those games. I think we'll be a much better team than people give us credit for. Now, what that means in the playoffs, I'm not sure yet. I'm not even going to try to give my predictions right now. I want to see what this team is, at least after this first week, even though I said that I didn't believe that they would win, but at least to kind of see who they were as a team. I think a lot of people are making decisions based on the third stringers that were playing last year. We were playing third stringers and everybody was hurt. And I think it's hard to actually judge this team based off of the record that was there last year. Okay, so I'm looking at something totally different with Dak back in the starting QB position, with what I feel like is going to be a better running game, what is easily a better wide receiver core, and what is actually a better defense. This team has an opportunity to move forward. They do have an opportunity to win football games because it's less likely that they just get overly bullied. Maybe somebody has some good running game, but not overly bullied in the run game, which allows them to stay in games and, possibly win and also possibly lose some of those games, but not being bullied in them is definitely going to help. Well, that's all we got. Again, I'm only here because Tom Downey said that we shouldn't be, but I believe that this is not a 7-10 team. This is still an 11-6 team. This has been Defending the Boys. I am D. Will, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. I'm out.